Okay, here we are, episode 2 in the JavaScript Dojo. So we went over JavaScript basics last time, and I forgot to mention something that I thought was really important was what is JavaScript used for and why should you learn it? Well, it's a very versatile language. It's used for web development, for functions across browsers. You can make apps with it. It does some back-end development and also a lot of experimental things. So I think it's a very versatile language to at least learn the basics. And the nice part about programming is once you learn syntax and basics of one language, a lot of the concepts will actually go over to other languages. So I think it's a good language to start with that does a lot of things. Doesn't do everything, but it definitely hits most points of a lot of programming languages. And after this video, I'm going to just show you how you can take a string of code that I would give you and you just open your notepad editor and you'll be able to just follow along. Really simple. It uses your browser and it kind of teaches you a little bit about how JavaScript works anyway. And it's so you could follow along or use these tools I'm showing you. So I'll show you that at the end. So let's go ahead and get into this here. So we're on variables and data. And let's see here. What is a variable? A variable is a named container for storing data. Think of it like a labeled box. In modern JavaScript, we use let and const to create variables. So think of variables as if you name something, you can give it a value. And this, we're going to value and data types. So let age equal 25. So it has like the term let, which they use, and the age would be whatever variable you created. So you could say let car equal Mercedes, but in this case, let age equal 25. It can be changed later. So we know that let, the keyword, lets you assign a value that can be changed or modified later. So if you said age 25 now, later you could say age equals 13, and you've already said it's a let, so you can actually modify that. Whereas constant can't be changed. So this one, the variable they created was name and Alice in a string, which is in double quotes. That one is constant, so you can't change it later. So you can't say name equals Frida. Basically it'll give you an error because you've defined it as something that couldn't be changed later, which could be handy for like numbers, bank accounts. I mean, a bunch of different things you don't want to be changed or accidentally changed in your code. So let is for values that might change, constant for values that stay fixed. So it's constant and let. There's different data types. Variables can hold different kinds of data. Let count equal 42 is a number. So we're saying count, we created that variable, equals 42. Let greeting equal a string because it has the double quotes. It's a string type. Let active equal true, they created a variable that can be changed. True or false is a different boolean, is that type. Let nothing equal null, it's intentional. You might use that in code to say, if this is null, do this. And let mystery doesn't have an equals or assignment, so it doesn't have a data type, so it's just basically saying, oh, I'm making a variable that I'll use later. So undefined, not set yet. All right, let's continue on. Okay, now it's for doing a quick quiz. So which keyword should you use for a variable that you'll change later? Well, we know constant is one that can't change. We know variable, fix, it's not it. We know let was the other option. So we'll go there. Fill in the blank. Complete the code to declare a constant variable called pi with the value of 3.14. And here we see it's expecting input pi equals 3.14, and it said we need to define a constant, which was const. So we'll fill that in, and we'll check our code. Perfect, because pi never changes. Okay. Declare a variable named myname, and notice that it has a capital N. That's what I like to see right away. Using let, set it to your name as a string, then declare a constant called year with the value of 2024, then console.log both. And if you remember on the previous lesson, console.log is just a method used to print to your console. And I know I forgot the quotations or the semicolon last time. But let's look at this. So it says we want to let my name, capital N, name equal, and we want it to be a string. So we'll do Kevin. String has the quotes, and then there's the semicolon. And then we want to define or declare a const. So const, and this one's year, equals 2024. And that's the end of that line. And then we want a console.log method, and we want that to show both of those. So my name, comma, year, and semicolon, and then we'll check our answer here. So we run the code, it is correct, but one thing to really notice here is if you had actually not paid attention and left that lowercase, and you actually went to run the code, it'll give you an error. My name is not defined. So the variable my name with a capital N is different than my name with a lowercase n. And if we were to fix that, but say we typed it wrong when we were defining the variable with a different naming convention, and we actually run code, my name is not defined. So it's basically either way. And then we'll continue, we'll run code, perfect, continue. Okay, what is the data type? Let x equal 42. Now, you may instinctually go, oh, that's a number. But remember, when it's in the quotes, in that case it's in double quotes, we know that it makes it a string type. And a boolean was true or false. Integer is a number, but that's not one of the data types. So we know, okay, it's a string. And that's it for variables and data. So that's the real basics on that section. Now I'm going to show you, if you comment and ask for the code so you can run this yourself, I'm just going to show you really quickly how you would set it up once you obtain the code. And if I were to open up, well, first I'll just open up a new notepad here. So let me switch over here, and we'll go to, let's see, notepad. I'm going to open up a new notepad. And that's on any PC, and a little harder to do on Mac, but it's the same concept. But it's really easy. You just get the code, and in this case it's just HTML, so your computer will actually recognize it. So if I sent you an email with this, you would just copy and paste this HTML and JavaScript code and put it in the blank notepad we just created, and then paste it in to a notepad. You'll see all the code, and then you save it. File, save as, testing today 2026, again, .html. When we hit save, yes, we'll save it. It goes to the desktop, testing today 2026. It automatically recognizes the browser. So whether it's Internet Explorer or Chrome, you can open that file and it'll pull up the programs that we've created. I also did create, again, the playground, so we can run code to actually test JavaScript. So if you say console.log and Kevin, this is just an extra tool that you don't have to download anything. You just put the code in a notepad and you can open it right up, and it works on your computer. Boom, display Kevin. Really simple. And thank you for watching. Next, what we're going to get into, let's take a look. What the next one is operators and math. So it'll get a little bit more advanced next week. And let's see here. Again, just comment below if you want that code. I'll get it to you, and I'll remind you how to get it going up and running on your computer. Alrighty, it's been fun so far. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.